Linda Burney, welcome to 7:30.
Thank you, Sarah.
Were you taken by surprise by the National Party's preemptive strike on the Voice referendum?
The Voice has not come out of nowhere. There were 12 regional dialogues that reached right across this country. 1,200 people participated. It has been in the making for 5 years. People have been talking about having representation permanently to the Parliament for much, much longer. The National Party, there are many good people in the National Party, and they represent really good people that know Aboriginal people, and that's important. They have made a very, in my mind, early decision. There is much work to be done in terms of the campaign. It's disappointing, of course, but it is not the fatal blow that people are talking about.
Are you concerned, however, that it will have some influence on Peter Dutton's decision and the Liberals' decision?
I don't know. I hold out great hope and respect Peter Dutton. I think that there are many people in the Liberal Party that understand that there has to be better outcomes for Aboriginal people. What is happening now is unacceptable. I said that today in the Parliament. And having a voice to the Parliament is absolutely about better outcomes for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people when it comes to health, child removal, education, housing, incarceration, all of those things, Sarah.
Now, Noel Pearson's response to the Nationals' announcement yesterday was to say that this decision is being driven by Senator Jacinta Price. How big a problem is it for the referendum that an outspoken Indigenous politician has become the face of the No campaign?
Look, the campaign has not really started. I have enormous faith in the Australian people. We know that a referendum is a high bar in Australia. But I have travelled extensively, Sarah, and I know that there is enormous support in the corporate sector. There is enormous support amongst the unions. There is so much support out there in the community. This is not about politicians. This cannot be about politicians. This is a decision that the Australian people will make. This referendum belongs to the Australian people, not to politicians.
Nonetheless, politicians like yourself, like Anthony Albanese, and Jacinta Price, who said she will be leading the No campaign, will play a very important role in informing the Australian people about the choice before them. We know they're going to be, and you are going to be, hugely influential. Senator Price went further. She made it personal. She accused you of taking a private jet to remote communities to, quote, dripping with Gucci, to tell people in the dirt what's good for them. How did this debate get so nasty?
There is going to be many nasty things said, and I don't take things personally. I grew up in a very small country town. I was raised by my great aunt and uncle, and they raised me to be respectful. They raised me to listen to people, and they raised me understanding that kindness is free. And I live by that. Giving up is not in my blood, Sarah, and I know that this referendum and a voice to the Parliament will improve life outcomes for First Nations people in this country.
The thrust of Senator Price's argument and others who support her is that, and I quote, Aboriginal urban elites have no connection to nor understanding of remote communities. What do you say to that?
Look, I don't want to respond directly, but what I can say is that I come from a very small country town. I have spent my entire career working with First Nations people and the broader community across this nation. And I know, and I am so proud of the fact that we have a Prime Minister who believes in good manners, of people having a say about their future and things that affect them. I really am just buoyed by that. And the other thing is that if we ever think this is about ourselves, then we are not doing our job properly.
From those opposed to the referendum, and this is not the ad hominem attack on you, but more generally the argument, it is that there is no detail yet for a voice. Would it have been more effective to have come up with a concrete model before going to a referendum?
Well, let me respond to that wholeheartedly. There is an extraordinary amount of information already in the public arena about the voice. The principles have been established and well ventilated. Things like the voice will be representative. It'll be chosen by the community. It will be inclusive. It will have gender parity. It will include Torres Strait Islanders. It will include young people. It will be accountable, and it will not usurp the role of existing organisations. And of course, the other thing is that we have not even started the campaign. That will start next year, and I can assure you, and everyone watching tonight, that there will be plenty of information out there by the time the referendum comes for people to make an informed decision.
And in that case, will you be funding both sides of the argument? Will there be money for yes and money for no campaigns?
The Labor Party we have made what I think is a very prudent and responsible decisions. We will be using public funds to fund a civics campaign so people know about what referendums are, people understand what the Constitution is about, and that people are well informed about referendum and how you vote in a referendum. We will not be using public funds to fund a yes or a no campaign. We believe those campaigns can raise their own money through private means. And I believe that this is a responsible, prudent approach to what is a very serious question that we're asking the Australian people in the next financial year.
You say there's plenty of time for the information to reach the public. So just to finally go back to what the Nationals have done, do you understand why they have come out so early in opposition?
The Nationals have made a decision, but I do note that it's not unanimous. We've got a member of the National Party in the Federal Parliament, Andrew Gee, the member for Clare, being very vocal today through a Facebook post saying that he will support the voice. We've had the leader of the National Party in Western Australia saying that they will support the voice. So I think there is some way to run in terms of this discussion.
Linda Burney, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, Sarah.